guys, so back during Boxing Day I started my first ever ginger bug. Now back during the COVID days I attempted to make kombucha, which is a carbonated drink using something called a SCOBY. If you know anything about kombucha, you have a little SCOBY that goes in there and grows in there to create carbonated drinks. But I couldn't keep doing it because the SCOBY sort of replicates. Every few weeks you get a new one and they just start to stack up on top of each other. And they're not really alive, but they're kind of colonies of culture, sort of a harmless bacteria that's quite good for your gut. And I just felt so guilty throwing them on the garden, throwing them away. I tried to stir fry them at one point and they didn't taste very good. So I just stopped doing it because I didn't enjoy throwing them away. But I do enjoy carbonated soda. So this time I'm going to attempt to make a ginger bug. But in order to do that, I needed a much smaller jar. And that is about the perfect size for a ginger bug. So that's what we're going to do now. So from the instructions I've been watching, and I'll leave the links below, you just need to chop up plenty of fresh ginger, and you want to shove some ginger into the jar. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in at the moment because I've used quite a lot of water. I think even though this is a smaller jar, it might still be quite big. I think you could probably make a ginger bug with half of that. So in goes the ginger, and then any leftover ginger can go into the fridge because we're going to use it later. Now we're putting in the same amount of sugar. You can use any type of sugar. This is just the one that I usually have. But don't use honey, because apparently honey has antibacterial properties and you actually want to encourage the good bacteria in this to grow. So if you're using honey, apparently it can slow down the carbonation process. So 2 of these. There we go. And give it a really good stir. And then we loosely cover it. So I'm putting that on, but I'm not pressing it down too hard. And that is my Christmas ginger bug started. And it's going to be a few days before we can use it. So I shall give you an update in another video. So after a couple of days, it had gone a bit cloudy, but it hadn't really started to bubble yet. It didn't really look like it did on the videos. So I just continued with the process every day, a tablespoon of fresh chopped ginger with the skin still on it, and a tablespoon of sugar, and I gave it a really good stir. But then disaster struck. I woke up one morning and all of the bubbles on the top were really, really large and kind of covered in this white film. And I kind of looked at it and I thought, oh, that doesn't look too good. And at first I thought maybe it was mold, but it didn't really look mouldy. And when I took the top off and smelled it, it smelled wonderfully of sort of ginger beer. It smelt really good. So I went and did some research and I discovered that the white film is something called cam yeast. And cam yeast is apparently quite common on fermented foods and drinks. And apparently it's completely harmless to human beings. And the second disastrous part of this is that I thought I'd filmed it and I can't find the footage, so I can't show you exactly what it looked like. But if you look at the corner of this video, you can see a little bit of it still left. But it was really all over it. It was very white and very bubbly. It didn't look terribly healthy. Okay, so I've scraped out the cam yeast and it came out really, really easily. So yeah, it just kind of dissolved. It didn't really look like mold and it doesn't smell off. So let's feed it and carry on. And looking at it, what I kind of realised was I'd left quite a large amount of air at the top of the jar. Now, the reason that fermented drinks tend to be very safe to drink is because they release a lot of gas whilst they're carbonating. And that gas kills off any kind of microbes that might be harmful. But because I'd left such a large amount of air at the top, maybe there wasn't enough gas to kill off anything that wanted to recreate in there. So what I did was I got rid of the cam yeast, I fed the ginger bug again, gave it a good stir, and then I topped it up so that there was only a little bit of air at the top. And ever since I've done that, it's been absolutely fine. The cam yeast never returned. And like I said, cam yeast is not harmful at all to humans, but although this is quite a common problem, and a lot of people creating a ginger bug say that it's happened to them, they scrape off the cam yeast, they feed it, they keep going. If you are in any doubt at all, if you are in any doubt that there might be mold in there, throw it away and start again, because mold is harmful to humans. So, you know, you can carry on if you're absolutely sure of what it is, but if there's any doubt or you suspect any mold, start again. And I also started a second one in a tiny olive jar, a much smaller ginger bug, just to sort of control test and see what happened with a smaller amount rather than a larger amount. So I'm starting this one in an olive jar. It's much, much smaller. Let's see how that goes. And the very next day, after I cleaned it up and fed it again, magic happened. Oh my goodness, guys, I don't know if you can see this, but that bubbling going on there means that the ginger bug is fully activated and we can start to make soda out of it. The cam yeast hasn't come back, there's no signs of mold. That is apparently a very, very healthy ginger bug. And this smaller one here that we started yesterday is starting to go cloudy. It was clear yesterday, it's cloudy now, and that's a good sign that fermentation is beginning, as is the ginger starting to float to the top. But look at this. That is a stunning amount of activity. Fantastic. Very excited to try and make a soda out of this. So there are instructions for this, but I'm really bad at following instructions. They say like 1 cup of juice to 1 tablespoon of ginger bug, or about 5% ginger bug to whatever it is you're making. Okay, I have 1 sterilised bottle. So there's a lot of sugar in fruit juice, but the sugar is going to be used by the ginger bug to ferment. So by the end of it, there won't be as much sugar in it as there is now. So I guess, oh my gosh, it's fizzy. Okay, oh God, I can't get it out very easily. This is crazy. I'm trying to get a bit of that right. It smells like the most wonderful ginger beer. So that's 1. And we put another one in, I think, at least. Okay. That should be, I think, I'll just put a tiny bit more. That should be all we need, I think. I don't know, it's really tempting to put more in, but they say the more that you put in, the faster it will ferment and the more gas. So I'm gonna put that on. Actually, I might top it up a little bit less air at the top maybe. Oh, now I think there's not enough air because it is going to create some gas. So I'm going to put that on, but I'm going to put it on a little bit loose. So if it goes horribly wrong, hopefully the glass won't shatter. Just pop that back on. Now we leave this, it says for 3 to 4 days, and then put it in the fridge to kill down the fermentation or kill off the fermentation. But as we know from these ginger bugs, fermentation happens here really quickly because we're on the equator and it's really warm here. So I reckon we give that a couple of days, keep an eye on it, see what happens, and we burp it every morning and every evening because we want it fizzy, but we don't want it to explode. And I think that's the trick with this, is figuring out how much is good bubbly and how much is actually a ticking time bomb. All right, I'm feeling excited. Let's see what happens. And then we mustn't forget to feed the ginger bug, give it its daily feeding. So in goes the fresh ginger, in goes the sugar, and give it a really good stir. Gonna do the same for the little one as well. So everything's going very well with the ginger bug and the juices, everything's fermenting away very nicely. But out of curiosity, I asked Google if you can drink pure ginger bug, and they say that you can, but it's often very spicy and very yeasty, so it's not that pleasant. But I thought I'd give it a go just whilst I'm here. It actually smells a lot stronger today than it did yesterday. Like yesterday it smelled like really sweet ginger beer, and today it smells like more like ginger ale. I don't know, there's something a little bit less sweet about it. Let's try it. I've only got a tiny bit, but down the hatch. Oh, that's actually really nice. Oh, I like it. Yeah, it just tastes like ginger flavoured water. A little bit fizzy, tiny bit, but not very. So yeah, that's quite nice. I guess maybe like a spoon of that a day for your gut is probably quite a good thing. So interesting. Okay guys, I've been experimenting with different flavours. This is an orange juice one. And as you can see, the top of the lid is now not flat. I've woken up this morning and the top of the lid is a little bit of a bump, which means there's gas in here. So we need to burp it. Did you hear that? There was a little tss, like it farted. And oh, there's a wonderful scent of orange juice come out of that. So I've got an orange juice one, I've got a passion fruit one, and I've also got a pineapple one. So these I've just squeezed fresh juice in there, added water and sugar and some ginger bug. So these have been going for about 2 days now, and you can see the foam at the top. And like the orange, this morning I had to burp them all. So they're very fizzy now. I think these are ready to put in the fridge. It's supposed to take 3 to 4 days to get to this stage, but it's really warm here. So I'm going to put them in the fridge to stop the fermentation. And yeah, we can try these tomorrow, or at least one of them tomorrow. Cool. So I am about to crack open my first ginger bug soda. Let's give it a go. After I made my mulled cider for New Year, I had half an orange left, and I just squeezed it into here, topped it up with water, a little bit of sugar and some ginger bug. Oh, there was a little bit of a hiss, not too much of a hiss. So it's spent about 3 days on the countertop, and it got very bubbly and fizzy, and then I put it in the fridge yesterday morning to stop the fermentation. I'm just going to strain it in here. There we go. It is definitely carbonated, look at that. And it was clear when it was in the jar, but it's a bit cloudy now that I've poured it out because it's got the yeast debris in it. But I think that's absolutely fine to consume, and it's good for your gut bacteria. So let's give it a taste. Okay, so I'm not expecting this to be outstanding because it's my first ever attempt, but it smells... You know what, that actually smells a little bit like the mulled cider. I think it's because it's slightly gingery. Yeah, it smells a little bit like mulled wine, which is not the smell I thought it would. Orange and ginger, I guess, you know, yeah, mulled wine. Okay, cheers. Oh, my goodness. That is very carbonated. That's incredibly fizzy. Yeah, That is very, very fizzy. I'd say that's more fizzy than the kombucha got to. I like the carbonation. It's a very mild flavour because, like I say, there was only about half an orange and I topped it up with water, so it's not a heavily concentrated fruit juice. It's pleasant. It's like fizzy water with a slight taste of orange. It's incredibly fizzy. I'm very happy with that. It doesn't taste of ginger. I mean, maybe the faintest ghost of it, but it doesn't really taste of that. It does taste a bit of orange. I really like that. I'm very impressed. Yay to ginger bugs. We'll try a few more over the next few days. I'm kind of starting one each day so that I've got a continuous kind of roll of different flavours to try. So I'm interested to find out what the fresh fruit ones are like in comparison to the cartoned juices that I bought. Also, you can just make this using only pineapple and sugar. It's called tapache, I think. I did a video on that ages ago and it was really good. It tasted fantastic. So you can make fizzy soda using a ginger bug, and you can do any kind of flavour. But if you really like pineapples, or you've got lots of leftover pineapple pieces, then tapache is the one to go for. That's also really good. But these are all good for your tummy, which is nice because things like Coca-Cola and Fanta, not so much. They've got a lot of sugar, a lot of syrup, a lot of, you know, stuff in there that isn't so good for your body. But if you like soda, naturally carbonated, very tasty and good for you. Also good for the environment because I'm making it in recycled jam jars, so no plastic bottles. Okay guys, today I'm going to try my passion fruit drink. It's been in the fridge for a couple of days, but you can see there's a bit of bubblage on top. There's definitely been a little bit of fermentation taking place. Here we go. Oh, that's taking a bit longer to strain because of all of the seeds. 3 fresh passion fruit. As you can see, it's left some bright yellow sediment. It's a really bright colour. And just to explain that sediment at the bottom is perfectly harmless. It's just a byproduct of fermentation, so it's dead yeast cells and a little bit of bacteria, but it's probiotic. It's perfectly fine to consume it. So when you pour the drink, you can either choose to pour it slowly and not include the sediment, and then you get a very clear drink, or you can just drink the whole thing down including the sediment, and that's what makes it a little bit cloudy. But it's very healthy for you. It's perfectly okay, and it's actually called brewer's trub. The name for it is trub or just sediment, and yeah, it's got very healthy properties, so don't worry if you see that in your drink. It's fine to consume it. This smells wonderful. It smells like fresh passion fruit. Smells really good. Let's try it. Oh, that is fantastic. It's quite tart and sour because it's passion fruit. Tastes really, really good. There's something a little bit undertone-ish about it that I can't quite place, which is the fermentation from the ginger bug. Again, it's wonderfully bubbly. It's not quite as effervescent as the last one we tried, but it is carbonated. Very, very pleasant, fresh out the fridge. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is wonderful on a hot day. Okay, here we've got a pineapple ginger bug. You can see all of the bubbles rising up, so it's very fizzy. It smells delicious. It just smells very strongly of pineapple. Here we go. Oops. It's got a beautiful pineapple colour to it. Cheers. Ooh. Ooh. That that is definitely a bit sour. That's definitely been fermenting longer than the others. It smells just like that pineapple fermented drink that I made. Just like it. I guess, you know, it's the same stuff. It's just, yeah, fermented pineapple juice. That's really nice. I can taste a little bit more of the ginger in that one. Pineapple and a tiny bit of ginger. Very sweet still very sweet and very fizzy. It's lovely. That is lovely. I'm just feeding the ginger bug again, and I just realised that the sugar I usually use, it says it's fortified with vitamin A, and I didn't notice that before. I'm not a huge fan of fortified foods, just because I feel like I probably get most of what I need from my diet. So I'm going to switch to just a local bag of brown sugar, which I don't think has been fortified. I don't think it makes any difference to the ginger bug, but I'd rather not, if that makes sense. Just got back off a bike ride, so I thought it was time to open the peach ginger bug that we made with the concentrated fruit juice. Yeah, it's actually been sitting in the fridge for about 5 or 6 days, I think. It's probably the longest fermented one so far. Okay. There wasn't much of a pop, but I did burp it earlier, so yeah, it does look like there are a few bubbles in there. There's a few little bubbles just around the side that you can see. Just going to drink it straight from the bottle. Oh, it's fizzier than it looks. Very, very peach flavour. Definitely a lot fizzier than it looks. It's got a kind of, yeah, it just tastes like peach fruit juice, but hold on a minute. So this was the actual peach fruit juice that I used. I'm the only one drinking this, so don't be shocked, but okay, hold on. I'm such a scruff. Okay, sweet, thick, peachy. Fizzy, slightly lighter taste. I'd say slightly lighter consistency. I'd say I prefer this. I would say I can taste an ever such a slight hint of ginger, but I think I could be imagining that because there's so little in it. I think this is more refreshing. I think the effervescence and the fizz gives it a little bit of a lighter flavour and taste. I would say this on a hot day is absolutely lovely, and it's a lot, so maybe that's like 2 servings at least. So I'll have some today and some tomorrow. I think that's a really, really nice soda. Just got home from running errands, and I'm going to open this one, which I made from tree tomato. I ate the tree tomato and then I scraped whatever was left into this jar from about 3 tree tomatoes. Oh, it smells very tree tomatoey. It's not looking very fizzy, but there's definitely some sediment at the bottom, so it's definitely fermented. So yeah, it's not looking terribly fizzy, but it smells wonderful. That is perfect. 1 jam jar is the perfect size for 1 cup of juice. It's got an amazing bright pink colour to it. That would do a bottle of pink gin proud. And I am seeing bubbles. I'm seeing a few bubbles. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of bubbles now that I look at it. I haven't made a single one of these that hasn't been fizzy. And this has only been, it was fermenting for 2 days and in the fridge for 1. So it's quick. Oh my goodness. I don't think I put any additional sugar in this. This is just tree tomato and ginger bug. So it's actually quite savoury. It tastes like Perrier water, so fizzy water with a slight twist of tree tomato. You know what? That might go with gin. I'm not about to try it at the moment, but I feel that would be a tonic water situation. It's got that slight bitterness without being unpleasant. I think if you don't like sugary drinks, I think that's the beauty of the ginger bug, is it just turns anything fizzy. It's completely up to you if you add sugar or you don't, because there's already sugar in fruit and it seems to be enough to make it go fizzy. But if you do want it a bit sweeter, just add a dash of sugar. These are fantastic. Wow, I'm really impressed, and the amount of carbonation is quite impressive. It really is. So, and apparently it's good for your tummy, possibly your digestion and your gut bacteria. So, win all round, really. Oh my goodness, this is the most bubbly, frothy one of all. You can hear it. I'm just going through every type of fruit I can think of and creating ginger bug. But this is the guava juice. So this was the box juice that I tried. And it smells of guava, but it's not quite as sugary. But it's very thick juice. So it trapped a lot of the bubbles. So when I poured it out, it was crazy. Let's try it. Wow. Oh wow, that one is super fizzy. Wow, that's just like bubbles everywhere. It really amazes me that you can achieve this level of carbonation so naturally, you know, without having to pump it in there with a gas pump. And it feels like a different type of carbonation. You can tell the difference. I don't know how to describe it, but if you drink Coke, you can feel the bubbles popping against your teeth and in your mouth. This, you don't really get that popping. I think the bubbles are probably a lot smaller. It feels like it affects the texture of the drink more. I really don't know how to describe it, but almost like the thing that you're eating is slightly sharper in texture. I don't know how to describe it. If you've done this, how would you describe it below? Wow, it's interesting. I think I maybe prefer a slightly lower level of carbonation. And I think it's just because this is such a thick juice that it's trapped it so much. It's an interesting, it reminds me a little bit of Pop Rocks. You know, that kind of Pop Rock sensation. That is fascinating. So just to wrap up my adventures with ginger bug, I was going to do a really cool last experiment where I did try to carbonate a soda made from honey, because it said that honey would slow down the fermentation process because of its antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. I can actually tell you that that didn't happen, or at least for me it didn't happen. I used a raw unfiltered honey that you can buy here. And yeah, I made a soda with the honey and it bubbled up just as fast as all of the other sodas. And then I dropped it all over the floor. So that was my special honey soda. However, I have rushed through a final one. This one is another tree tomato one, but this time instead of adding sugar, I added a little bit of honey, not a lot of honey, just a little bit. And it seems to have bubbled up, so I'm going to give this one a quick try just to see what the flavour is using honey instead of sugar. And yeah, it smells sharp but slightly sweet, so let's try it. Yeah, it's perfectly carbonated. Definitely not as sweet as if I used sugar, but then to be honest, I only used a little bit of honey, so there really wasn't much for the ginger bug to work with there. perfectly refreshing. I think if you're looking for less refined sugar drink, then you can swap out for the honey, because it doesn't seem to affect the carbonation that I've noticed. Other people say that it slows down the carbonation. Maybe it's because we're on the equator and it's so warm here that everything ferments in seconds. Yeah, I think you can switch out for honey. Okay guys, so I hope you found this interesting and had something to take away from this. If you enjoy carbonated drinks, ginger bugs are incredible. And this is just so much fun because you can choose what you want to put into it. You can use any kind of fruit to flavour it that you like. And you can also choose the sugar levels as well, which I think is really important. So all of that, plus the fact it's got some probiotic and gut-friendly properties, it's such a good idea and brilliant on a hot day. And my final useful tip is that I now use a straw to get the ginger bug out of here. It was getting quite difficult to do it with a spoon, so I just drop the straw down, cover the top, and the suction holds the liquid inside the straw. And then I just release it over the new soda. There we go. New soda in the making. Pop the top on, give it a little swish, and leave that out for about 2 days, and then pop it in the fridge. So this is my mini ginger bug that I started in case the cam yeast came back and destroyed the larger one. And I've been keeping this in the fridge because with my large one, I'm using it pretty much every day. So I feed it every 1 to 2 days and it's bubbling away like nobody's business. Whereas this one, I put it in the fridge because if you put it in the fridge, you only need to feed it once a week and it's supposed to drastically slow down the fermentation. But what I'm actually seeing, you can probably see it here, but what I'm seeing is that it doesn't seem to have slowed down the fermentation at all. It's really, really bubbling away there. But I think I'm going to use this one to try to make some actual ginger beer. I do like ginger beer. Yeah, look at all of those bubbles. That hasn't slowed down the fermentation. It's been in there for about a week now, maybe more than a week, and it's still bubbling away like it's totally normal. So, I don't know. I mean, look at these bubbles. And that's in the fridge.